Hi, I'm Stephen LePage. It seems many people are uncomfortable talking about how financial advice is paid for these days, including some financial advisors. So I'd like to give you a brief overview of what you should expect to pay and perhaps more importantly, what you should expect in return. Although these guidelines are very general, they should apply whether your advisor is from here in the Valley or Fredericton, Halifax or Toronto. And for the most part, they should also apply to all kinds of advisors, regardless of whether they specialize in stocks, bonds, mutual fund, insurance, or comprehensive planning, and across most financial services providers, including banks, brokerages, insurers, and independent planning firms like ours. And remember, I'm not trying to justify these costs, I'm simply trying to help you understand them. So let's start with what you should expect from any advisor. Most importantly, do they always act with your best interests in mind? Do they take the time to listen and understand what you need? Are they able to explain things clearly so that you understand their advice? And do they put it in writing to help you track the advice long after they're gone? Do they have a broad understanding of financial planning, or are they limited to investment or banking or insurance advice? Remember that recommendations made in one area without consideration for their impact on another may have disastrous consequences. So if they don't already have that knowledge and experience, they need access to those resources to make sure your best interests are served. Do they have access to a broad range of planning solutions without undue allegiance to any one product or provider? Remember to look at the sign over the door. Ask them what they do to justify the fees being charged and how they add value to your relationship. And finally, because ongoing advice is vital and oftentimes sensitive, are they easily available by phone, email, or most importantly, in person when you really need them? There's lots more I could suggest, but I'm sure you get my point. You need someone who cares and has the team in place to fulfill that commitment. That's what you should expect. So, now a summary of how financial advisors are compensated for their services. And I'll cover insurance first because that's by far the easiest to explain. And it applies whether you're talking about health or life insurance, disability, or critical illness protection. There should be no upfront, out of pocket cost to you, as all expenses are embedded in the monthly or annual deposits you make to keep the protection in force. Period. The insurer, and again, regardless of the type of protection, for the most part provides the advisor with an upfront commission. There may be a small trailing fee each year the coverage is in place, but the majority of compensation is paid when the policy is issued. So if the embedded cost to you is essentially the same, regardless of who you buy it from, the important consideration is what you get in return. And that means all the things I've already mentioned. Your best interests always come first. The advisor understands your circumstances and needs. You receive thoughtful and comprehensive solutions from the most suitable providers, and that advisor will be there when you need them in the future, because you will. Now let's talk about the mysterious world of investment fees. And because of the variety of products out there, the specific fees applied to each would take far too much time for this segment. But in general, this summary applies to all kinds of providers, to all kinds of investments, through all kinds of advisors. So you simply need to keep two things in mind. First, no one does something for nothing. So regardless of what's said about the cost of investing in stocks, bonds, pooled funds, or GICs, there's a cost involved. And that cost is available to you in writing from any advisor in the form of a prospectus or information folder. The second thing to remember is that it's not what you pay, but what you get in return that's most important. Now, over the last 20 some years, my philosophy has come down to these 5 simple responsibilities. Provide a reasonable rate of return over time, with manageable risk suitable to your circumstances, minimize the tax you have to pay, make adequate funds available to you during your lifetime, and beyond your lifetime, make sure any remainder goes to those you care about. If I can help you make all those a part of your financial plan, I've done my job and you'll be happy. And I strongly believe that should be every advisor's objective, because life is short and money should solve problems, not create them. It should allow you the freedom and comfort to live without burden or worry. And although I can't predict the future of stock markets, interest rates, or the economy, I can help you put a plan in place that works for you, regardless of what happens in the world beyond your control. So essentially, my job is to help you get the best life possible with the money you have. So if any of what I've said makes sense to you, give us a call and we'll get together to talk about it. How much will it cost? Nothing but your time. How much will it be worth? We'll let you be the judge. Thanks for tuning in.